Hey guys, what is going on? I am Yisha. We're back with another video. And today in this video, we're gonna be going over how to get better here in Black Ops 4. Now, what I mean by that is like, how to improve all your aspects in Black Ops 4 just to make you essentially better at the game. Now, a quick disclaimer: I am not actually like an expert. I'm not a COD pro or anything like that. I actually started off the game having a really hard time and everything, and I ended up improving myself to where I'm actually really comfortable with the game. I can play it and get some high score streaks and everything and whatnot. So that's what I want to give off. So if you guys think I'm some Call of Duty pro, that is definitely not it, but this is really for the people who are struggling at the game and can't really adjust to it yet. This is a couple of tips that I had to use to get used to the game and understand it, just because there's a lot of new aspects in Call of Duty Black Ops 4, like the new health system and a whole entire gameplay aspect. It's all different, so I think that it will just take a while. So it took me a little bit while, so I'll have 5 tips for you today on how you guys can ease up that process and make it a lot easier for you guys. So if you guys do like this kind of content, then please drop a like on this video. That'd be really fantastic. And if you are new and want to be the first to see new Black Ops 4 content like this, then consider subscribing to the channel. We are on our way to 170. I cannot wait. So anyways guys, with all that out of the way, let's get on to the video. Anyways guys, now we got all that out of the way, we can actually get started. So how the tips are going to work is I'm going to share out the obvious one first, and then we're going to go down from the list from there. So if you want to get to the more advanced stuff, then continue watching this video. But anyway, let's get started. So the first tip I'm going to explain is going to basically go over just like, play a lot. Play the game a lot. And that sounds very, very obvious, and a lot of people are like, come on, dude. But when you kind of look at this, is actually the most important tip I can give you, or anybody can give you for that matter. Just playing the game a lot, or this is related to anything in general. When usually you're playing a sport or you're doing an activity, a lot of times if you do that thing a lot, you'll improve on it. So just obviously it's gonna take some new time to get used to a new Call of Duty game like this. And as long as you, with all the other tips I'll be sharing with you, I think playing a lot and just play like at least a couple hours, like an hour a day, would definitely help you out in the long run. So just want to get that quick one out of the way. Let's get on to the next one. Tip number 2 for improving in Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is going to be your sensitivity. I think that's going to be a major factor when deciding how good your aim will be. That will definitely affect your center, your response times and everything. So I think sensitivity is really important, but there's actually a common myth that I find when watching a lot of other videos on sensitivity, and that is being that a lot of people always have a recommendation of a certain sensitivity, and some people say, oh, go with a really low sensitivity, or some people say go with really high sensitivity. But in all honesty, it's really up to you guys. I think that determining sensitivity is more of a personal thing, and it's more of a preference than it is anything, and that always start off with a default sensitivity. So always start off with a 4 sensitivity if you're just getting started with Black Ops 4, or if you're not really know what your sensitivity is, just always going 4. It's always a good starting point. And then after that, go up high until you can't really use it. Like, keep going your sensitivity one by one, and then once you understand that, then do the exact opposite. Go down a little bit lower, and then you can always just find something that works for you. Always try one sensitivity for a day. Don't really do it for a couple games and switch, because if you switch, you won't have that muscle memory in your brain that tells you that will get used to sensitivity, and like you won't be able to maximize it the most. So I think that if you stay with a certain sensitivity for at least a day, or at least a couple days, and then you start switching down, I think that's the best time to understand and actually develop that muscle memory of you, so you can understand sensitivity, or at least that once, so you can get a better idea. But that was tip number 2. Let's get on to tip number 3. Tip number 3 is going to be to play with friends. Now this is actually another very important tip, because this actually contributes to a lot of things in the game. I think that playing with friends for any game in general makes the game more fun to play. It makes it it makes it a relaxing environment, and overall makes you want to play better, because there's some other competition that you're able to talk to, speak to, and also the communication is a little bit easier to go through, so you're able to win more games and all that stuff, and also you're able to get more kills, which will allow you to be better and keep that competition flowing. So I think having friends to play with is always a great thing to have, whether it's earning XP or getting headshots, or just any challenge to complete. It's always better to do with a friend. I also have a video about, this is a last video I did about getting more XP. If you guys want to check that one out, I'll leave a card on the top of your screen, and you guys check that one out. That video is pretty good. But off of that, saying that to get better is always compete and everything. So I think when you're playing a sport, you're always competing against somebody. When you're doing something, when you're trying to do something in general, you're always competing against somebody. So I think that when you're playing Call of Duty, it's no different. So when you're in a party and you're playing with somebody, you're competing to get more kills, or you're competing to get less deaths, or you're seeing try to get diamond camo first. So I think that having a friend is always gonna make you better, and make your team better overall. All right, so tip number 4 is going to be to play confident but not cocky. Now what I mean when I say by this is, like, when you're playing when you're playing Call of Duty, a lot of times, a lot of newer players always play like, super conservative, super in the back. You know what I mean? They don't really have a lot of trust in their, in their skill in the game, and granted, they don't have that much skill at the begin with, but I had this exact same problem. And so when I was using my SMGs and I was trying to get those diamond, what I was trying to do is I would always try to get up in their face, always work on it, and I wouldn't really care about my KD as much. And so when I first started, I had like a 1.3 KD, but then as soon as I started getting used to it and I started, going up in people's faces and started developing a little more confidence, my KD was able to raise up to a 1.5 at the moment, and is going a little bit higher as we speak. So it's all think about that. But when I talk about not cocky, is like, don't get carried away. And what a lot of people tend to do is that always get into a game and they always try to go up in their face and always try to get into spawn and get a whole bunch of kills and everything. But it's just not gonna work like that in this game. It's just not gonna happen, mostly because the time to kill is so low and there's a higher amount of health. And usually when there's a 2-on-1, most 90% of the time you will not win those. So and since the maps are a little bit smaller here in Black Ops 4, you're gonna be seeing a lot of enemies, one by one. So I think that always have confidence when you're playing the game, but don't get carried away. If you know that you can get out of a gunfight, you're losing, always try to back out when you can. At the same time, when and you feel that you can get that kill, then always try to go for it. Always try to challenge. I think that building that confidence will allow you to explore and try out new things in the game that you probably never even thought of before. So I think that is very important as well. So I just want to get that out of the way. Alright, and the final tip I'm going to give to you, which is mostly a little smaller tip, but it is also important, which is why I'm mentioning it here in these 5. So which is going to be, tip number 5 is going to be run engineer. Now, if you guys do not know what engineer does, it's not like in Black Ops, well, it's kind of like in Black Ops 2. If you guys have played Black Ops 2 or play any Call of Duty game that has engineer in it, basically what you can do is see enemy equipment like claymores and stuff like that. But when in Black Ops 4, it is absolutely amazing, mostly because all the specialist abilities are technically do count as equipment. Now, what I mean by that is when you're using engineer, you're able to see Seraph's tac deploys, you're able to see the seeking mines from Prophet, you're able to see the mesh mines from Nomad. You can see all that, and you can even see sensor darts from Recons, which is absolutely amazing. And everybody uses the equipments for specialists, so having able to see that, especially in a game like TDM, is going to be very important. So when you see stuff like tactical deploys, you're able to know where it spawns at, and you're able to plan accordingly ahead of time. And since you're able to see stuff like dogs, like the dog from Nomad, you're able to move around the map a little bit more. You can move a little more safely, more comfortably. And don't be surprised if you get into a match that it's always going to be mesh mine. There's always going to be something equipment like that. So engineer will always be in use. Unlike Black Ops 2, where Black Ops 2 is only used for only a couple people use claymores and stuff like that. But this one is in Black Ops 4 is a complete game changer, and I recommend everybody to give it a try. And the best part is that engineer is a perk 1, and it's the first perk 1 you unlock. So you'll be able to get that one real quick and stick it on your class setup. I do have a couple class setups that run engineer. You guys can click on the top right of your screen. There's a card that will tell you my beginning class setup, aka the last video that I made, and it can also be my ICR class setup, so you guys can check those out as well. But anyways, guys, that is all the tips for you guys. So with that out of the way, we can move on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is gonna basically mark the end of this video. But before you guys head out, please tell me how you guys are doing, or comment down below on how you guys are doing here in Black Ops 4. Did you just get it? Are you new, or are you experienced, or have you been playing a lot? I'd definitely like to know, because I've been playing the game since the release day. I've also been playing the beta as well, and yeah, I gotta tell you, this game is definitely really hard to adjust to, but with a little bit of time and the tips I shared with you, you guys will be able to understand it with at least a couple of weeks. So well, not a couple of weeks, even lower than that probably. So you guys will be able to get used to it. But if you guys are having a hard time, please do not try to bring yourselves down over it. You'll get used to it, and it'll take time to adjust. Everything will just take time. So with all of the way, if you guys do like this video, please drop a like. That would be much appreciated. And if you're new, you want to be the first to see all this Call of Duty Black Ops 4 content like this, then subscribe to the channel if you are new. And guys,